It's time for another Talking with Topher. This is episode 305. It is February 5th, 2026. And before I get into anything today, let me start the way I always do, by saying thank you. That's right. Thank you to all of my subscribers out there. I greatly appreciate you. You are the reason I keep coming back week after week. If you are new, remember to subscribe, hit the button, set the alarms, and everybody out there, leave comments. Real quick, please watch me on your TV. It counts for more. I don't know what kind of more, but play this on the TV instead of your phone and drive up the ratings that way, I guess. It's something new I just learned, so throwing it out there. Thank you to the new and existing subscribers. Again, if you want your opportunity to be a guest on this podcast or tell your story, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. It's the official email of the podcast. Just send an audio, video, or type it out. Linktree is in the description below the video. That's the link where you can find everything TwT. It's just that easy, along with all the links discussed on this podcast today. And with all the housekeeping out of the way, let's get into today's podcast. All right, so I don't know if I mentioned this last week or not, but I've been kind of expanding on my father's death. And I will have to say that a lot of people told me that I had a spiritual experience when he passed. And I will honestly tell everybody right now that if it is true that I had a spiritual experience, then the spiritual experience was right next door to a psychedelic experience. I've had many psychedelic experiences. I don't think it was that close to acid. I'm talking more natural nature, something that you eat from the earth and it makes you trip, or have this experience. You know, they mix a couple plants together and you have to fly somewhere and take that stuff, whatever. I can't remember the names right now. They're escaping me. This is a Topher After Dark, everybody. Okay. Just bear with me here. We're having fun. So what I'm saying is that if I had a spiritual experience, then mushrooms are a spiritual experience. I think licking the toad is a spiritual experience. And Ibogaine, was it Ibogaine? Man, I can't remember the name of that drink. Maybe it was Ibogaine. But all of these things that are natural are right there then. I've experienced, the psilocybin. I've experienced DMT. And man, when it happened, it felt like a psychedelic experience. Like my whole body was like, I am tripping right now. I am tripping. So my thoughts on my experience is spirituality is right next door to psychedelics. It's right there, everybody. Which is, why I guess, I've never thought of them as a party drug, and why whenever I've taken them, it's always been this thing that I need to be ready for. I have to prepare. It really is like a road trip. It really is a trip you are preparing for, because you have to put yourself into a position where you're going to be somewhat comfortable, right? And if you're not comfortable, it really takes you to a place that you think is dark, but it's just looking into yourself. And experiencing what I experienced with my father was psychedelic, man. It was crazy. So my consensus as of right now is if I had what you all want to call a spiritual experience, then spiritual experiences are literally right next door to psychedelic experiences. And I truthfully and honestly believe that if people are very spiritual but do not use any type of a psychedelic or look at it as a negative, bad thing, I'm telling you, you don't know what you're saying. You have no idea what you're saying, because it was the same. So really, really crazy. I've been, everything is the same right now. Everything is the same. It's been almost 2 months. Yeah, like 7 days, and it's been 2 months, and I'm different now. I'm different. So I'm still dealing with that. So, But anyways, yeah. So enough about me. Topher After Dark. All right, I've been dipping into the THC. I got some stuff on here. We are in Crazy Town, everybody. We're in Crazy Town, and I want to start off with this clip right here. This is my clip starting off now. This right here, I had to go digging because I had it. The link was broken. I resent the link 3 times to my email. Each time it came in broken, never sent me to the video. I finally downloaded it, had to download it into Google Drive, and now I have the video on the computer so that you can all see this. This is a 3-minute message. One fucking hell of a bomb here. Look, you need to share this video. I don't know how I'm going to add it in. Maybe I can add in the link from the Google Drive because the link itself was broken. But this message right here needs to be heard.
Well, the translators are gone, and the live stream is waning, which means that if we just listen to my colleague Matthias, the best thing in the world would be to leave it to you, the people. Now it's up to you to share what clearly, based on the cavernous emptiness we see in all of these spaces, is only going to be heard if you share it. So it feels very appropriate that I should be the one with the quietest voice. But let's let that lion roar, shall we? I'm done talking about COVID, and I'm done talking about SARS-CoV-2, and I'm done for a very simple reason. For 110 years, we, the people of the world, have been lied to. We're a group of very small number of criminal industrial conspirators decided to subordinate the entirety of the human population for the purpose of their sinister plans to enrich themselves while impoverishing and killing the rest of humanity. And I'm done being polite. We've long passed polite. When the words acceptable death rate become part of an industrial norm, we have lost the plot of humanity. And that's not my words. Those were the words of the World Health Organization and of Pfizer and of Moderna when they were given the authorization to begin the process of killing human beings in the interest of advancing their goals. Next slide. And I'm also not going to sugarcoat this. This is a criminal cartel. We are acting as though there's some sort of redeemable quality somewhere in some esoteric layer that somehow or another the World Health Organization must have some salutatory benefit. Well, I'm going to tell you, since its formation in the 1940s, the World Health Organization has been nothing more than a criminal cartel that has a sole and singular intent. And I will show you the document that proves what I'm saying. This is not an allegation. This is actually provable by their own words in their own hand. And they use a four-step process to execute every one of their nefarious plans. They begin by planning an exercise, then they go to the business of funding that exercise, then they create the rationale for the thing that they're going to do, and then they deploy and profit from it. And in violation...
Absolutely insane. It was so hard for me to find that video, everybody. And look, I know things are faked right now. Things are really up in the air. We are, I believe, at the tipping point of not understanding reality or nonfiction and fiction, right? Reality and not reality. It's all changing. Even people that are seeing stuff come from the White House are questioning whether or not the video is AI. Is there something weird with the hand? Look, man, the day that everybody starts saying that, and we're all getting to that point now, which is actually kind of scary, that's the point where it's all broken. You know, you got all kinds of things happening, and one side saying they're fake and the other side saying they're fake. I'm just here to go over all of it with you because I want everybody to be aware of all of the things that are happening, whether they're fake or not. Because even in the fakeness, there is a touch of reality. And if you can find the hints of reality that link, if you can dig through the nonsense, but there's always a grain or a hint of truth, if you can follow that, it leads you somewhere. If you backtrack from other things, some of this stuff makes a little bit of sense. It's not all hogwash, right? The Bible was destroyed and ripped apart. Thomas Jefferson made it something, took out all the woo-woo stuff, whatever. Because why? Because the separation between religion and state. It's supposed to be a thing. It's not supposed to be together. But at the end of the day, it's a Christian Catholic world we live in America. And I've always said it needs to be separated. Everything needs to be torn apart. But these people want to hold it together. The World Health Organization wants what's happening right now. It's actually, they want it destroyed. They want the white man done. They want the Christian Catholic done. They want Islam done. They want Judaism done. They want everything. They want it all done. Why do they want it all done? Because of the one world order. The way it needs to be. Right? So the average age of somebody owning a house today is 59. And if you get a 50-year mortgage, you'll have it paid off by the time you're 110. So that's great, huh? This is where we're at. A house in 1990 was $79,000. Today, it's $410,000. The astronomical gap in percentage increase that we're all dealing with is undeniably impossible. No one can do anything. They are literally gridlocking us, destroying us. They're implementing this AI where we won't be able to tell whether I'm real or not. And then they're telling us everything is fake. And then they're distributing nothing but fake, which divides us even more. And then they're going to have a solution to all of this by giving us one God. for everybody. And then whoever doesn't follow that, you're done. And then they start over. I don't know if any of this is true. I could just be completely out of my mind. But it doesn't sound like nothing to me. The track record's there. So I am not saying that what I'm saying is 100% real, but there's a grain of truth in here. I just don't know exactly where it is. Or do I? Yeah, it's in the one world order, and you will have nothing and be happy. As long as that little nugget keeps showing up, there's something of truth. There's some truth in all of this chaos because they're distributing it to us. It's in our movies. It's in our TV shows. I mean, did we all not just watch 11 do crazy stuff and bleed from the nose? And then those guys had the and she fucking, down on the ground, fucking, you know what I mean? What the fuck just happened in Venezuela? And yes, I said it incorrectly. I say it incorrectly on fucking purpose. I'm done. I can't talk. I can't remember names. Thanks for listening. I don't know. But we just did that. That shit's real. So did we all just get programmed to accept that weapon? And please, hold on. Pump the brakes. But if you honestly think that anybody else had this technology and nobody used it up until this point, I have to disagree with that 1,000%. I will honestly believe that we are the only ones with this, and if anybody else had this, it would have been used a long time ago, and it would have been very bad. So I do believe this is specifically ours. Now, after that, not so much, right? It is possible for shit to get stolen, blah, 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 whatever. So somebody else is already working on it, I'm assuming. But I think we are the only ones with that weapon right now. And I feel like watching Stranger Things programmed us all to accept it. I don't know. Prove me wrong. So we live in a society where homosexuals lecture us on morals, transvestites lecture us on human biology, baby killers lecture us on human rights, and socialists lecturing us on economics. What a wonderful world we're all living in today. Isn't that just fantastic and make you feel all warm? Don't you love the inclusivity, everybody? Now that you have these people telling you the way it should be, homosexuals are not going to lecture me on my morals. Transvestites cannot talk to me about the human biology. I'm sorry. Baby killers do not get any human rights as far as I'm concerned. And socialists, well, you're not about economics, are you? You make out like you are. You say you're going to, but I'm telling you right now, we've tried socialism before, and it didn't work. So good luck, New York. Honestly, a good luck. Because I don't believe treating white homeowners like absolute racists and slave owners and dividing amongst the properties and making so nobody owns any property is a good thing for you. because they're also saying, well, without even saying black, brown, yellow, you don't even get a fucking house. That's weird, right? So white homeowners in New York are racists and white supremacists and slave. What? That's the American dream. That's always been the American dream. So why are they dismantling the American dream in New York? Because the white man is the problem, right? Yes, because there was only one slavery. No, I don't believe this. This is something bigger. And if it does fall on religion, and this really is a war amongst religions, well, that's wild, man. You know? Because I don't know if it's as much as I don't know, maybe it's all lumped into the same. It's a war on America. It's a war on the white man. It's a war against religion. It's a war against everything America stands for. And why everybody wants to dismantle what has been built. It's so terrible, right? It's so terrible. I just don't believe you. What I think is terrible is that you have enough freedom here to think of everything that could possibly just be the worst thing about this country, and you just go against it. That's why we're doing all of this. You fucking people are bored. You're bored. You know what gave you boredom? Fucking freedom. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. But we're going to find out what the hell is going on with Greenland. Okay? Because all of this is combined. It's all together. Everything that's happening. And everybody wants to say that this stuff is really bad. Now, it could go really bad, according to some statistics. But again, everybody is trying to paint this negative picture. It's terrible, it's terrible, it's terrible, it's terrible. Is it? Is it terrible? Because I'm going to play these videos and kind of go through it with you because, again, I hear some crazy shit. I hear some actual shit. And then you hear some other shit. And I think collectively, all together, all three of these have truth to them. Which one is more true than the other? I don't know. But man, I will have to say that the first video that I thought was just insane, and I'm like, I'm not even going to play this because this is crazy town. This one seems to be everybody's like go-to right now. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess if everybody is really friggin' thinking this, then maybe. But, again, everything is for entertainment purposes, so take this with a grain of salt and do your own research, everybody, okay?
Now, how many of you know about the object in Greenland? A couple of you, okay. Well, for those of you that don't know, there is a spacecraft that has melted out of the ice in Greenland. As you know, the North Pole has melted completely. You can go from London to Moscow or to Russia by going over the North Pole now. All the ice cap is gone. The last place that has ice on it was Greenland. Of Greenland had a 18,000-foot ice cap on it. Well, the spacecraft that is anchored in the center of Greenland created the last ice age 50,000 years ago. It's a weather machine. It's 55 miles wide, 300 miles long, and 2 miles high. The people that lived in it were called the Mois. If you draw a straight line from the spacecraft to the Washington Monument in Washington, D.C., through the Yucatan Peninsula Great Pyramid at Mitsubishi, and ends up on Easter Island where the Mois have been dug out of this dirt. The heads on Easter Island, well, 2 years ago they finally went ahead and they excavated, and they're all 65 to 85-foot people, full-body carvings. And these were the people that lived in the spacecraft that was uncovered that's melting out of the ice in Greenland. So when you think we've been alone, these people have been up there for 50,000 years. The spacecraft is still active after 50,000 years. It has a 200-mile dampening field where no electrons can flow into it. In 1947, a B-52 bomber flew into that pattern, into the dampening field, when trying to fly between Maine and London. As a result of that, they lost power and crashed in Greenland. As they sent in rescue B-52 bombers to rescue them, they hit that same dampening field, but they veered off. They just ricocheted off of it. And by testing, trying to get to these guys, they were able to bring a circumference and find out that there was an object 200 miles to the center of this field. On the southwest corner of Greenland, there is a small community. It's the only community on the island of Greenland. That community is a military post, CIA, that uses a compressed air generator to operate diesel engines to run a Caterpillar to run back and forth to 200 miles from the base to the object in Greenland. A lot of our technology comes from the reverse engineering out of the spacecraft. It is still functional and is still in operation. So it's pretty important what this thing is. All the nations worldwide are up there with the United Nations, and they're all acting, working together.
What? Like I said, I thought this was insane. Insane. What are you talking about? It's 2 miles high. The statues from Easter Island are the people that were on it. They're the Moyas. They've been there for 50,000 years. Excuse me, what are you talking about? Well, those sound like giants to me. So this machine is still operational, and there's still a 200-mile radius around this thing that you can't penetrate because you lose power and crash? But we can get to it on the ground? How do we know it's still operational? How do we test the field? Like, it was very, very out there for me. And I was like, well, this sounds, I haven't not heard of this spacecraft that was slowly exposing itself as the ice melted. But again, I thought it was kind of silly. So, I don't know. Show it to me from satellite today. But have you noticed that almost every picture of Greenland that I have looked at, well, recently, but not after today, or up to today, they're white. And what is with Greenland being the wrong size? Why is it always the wrong size? Why is it that if you do the landmass of Greenland and you do the landmass of Africa, Africa is bigger? Why would we always portray it as being as big as it is on our map if it's not? Why wouldn't we be portraying it as the size it is? Right? Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? I think so. I think the whole thing's weird, right? Because it makes you really think about why they did. They wanted to make it look bigger so that the continents look closer together or something. Like, we already know that at one point in time, maybe way back, that was all one landmass. But have you noticed how it's just kind of broken up over however many years it has? And I don't know. It doesn't seem like some of the curvatures that should exist. You know? It's weird, man. It's weird. It's really, really weird. This I thought was really out there, but man, people are gobbling this up right now. So is there something to it? I don't know, but I know there's more to Greenland than just a spacecraft that supposedly caused the Ice Age 50,000 years ago by some giants who eventually moved to Easter Island, or somebody built statues of on Easter Island. I'm not sure. The real reason Trump wants to take Greenland next. Now, I thought this was a very good explanation because I was just trying to figure out, like, you know, what is it? What is it about Greenland? There's a lot about Greenland that they really want. So here we go.
Take a look at this map of Greenland if you want to understand why Trump wants to take it over so badly. Trump says that it's all about national security.
We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic.
But that's not the full story. The US doesn't need to take over Greenland for national security at all. The US already has military installations in Greenland, and Greenland is governed by Denmark, a NATO ally. Greenland, like Venezuela, has significant oil and mineral wealth that Trump wants. Greenland has massive deposits of rare earth minerals that the United States currently has to depend on China for, resources that US tech and energy companies would love to get their hands on as they seek to massively expand and profit off of artificial intelligence. And the US government thinks that Greenland likely has large oil and gas deposits off its coastline, but the government of Greenland has stopped giving out licenses for oil and gas exploration. And recently they stopped a lot of mining exploration too, due to environmental concerns. So if Greenland was in US hands, these roadblocks to US companies would disappear. Companies working in Greenland are already seeing a boost at the suggestion of US control. Critical metals and energy transition minerals stock both jumped over 25% just this week. Big tech billionaires like Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates are already invested in companies like Cobalt Metals, which holds mining rights in Western Greenland and secured $500 million in new funding right when Trump got back into office. And weirdly, a lot of this push to take Greenland seems to be coming from Estee Lauder heir Ronald Lauder, a longtime Trump ally and a billionaire who apparently first introduced Trump to the idea of buying Greenland at all. Lauder is, of course, quietly making investments in Greenland, like funding the Delaware-based Greenland Development Partners, a company looking to invest in hydropower projects that would power aluminum smelters in the area. Effectively, they're setting up shop for a big American push into Greenlandic minerals. Even weirder, Peter Thiel, Mark Andreessen, and Ken Howery, the current US ambassador to Denmark, are pushing the Trump administration to take Greenland so they can create a deregulated tech freedom city in Greenland, which of course would never happen if the Danish government kept control. Maybe needless to say at this point, but none of this has anything to do with improving the lives of Americans or even the lives of Greenlanders. It's all about servicing the needs of corporations and Trump's desire for global power.
You know, and that does sound pretty goddamn accurate. Why? It's never about us. That's my one biggest complaint about everything. We do not benefit. Ever. I mean, does anybody feel good about paying taxes this year? I would hope not. But if you are out there and you're looking forward to paying your taxes, well, I think you should be dragged out into the street and shot, because the fact that we even have to go do taxes at all ever again, the fact that they're still going to take money out of my paycheck every week fires me up, man. It's not right. Our money has been stolen. Our money has not gone to the things that you promised them they were going to go to. So now I don't want to give you my money anymore. I don't want to give the federal government any more of my money. Everybody has figured out how to rip off and steal from the federal government, which is stealing from all of us. And yet they still want us to go and pay our dues. It's not fair. It's not fair. And if this is really why they want Greenland to put in this fucking city to benefit all these fucking billionaires, man, doesn't that just fit the fucking narrative? You know what I mean? So it's absolutely perfect. But what if things were to go a little bit differently, and now we're talking about just taking it over, right? What happens? Like I said, there's 3 possibilities for Greenland. I don't know what's going to be true. I don't even know what's going to happen, everybody. I don't even know if this narrative is more true than the one I just showed you. What I'm saying is that all of this could be a possibility. We don't know. But you should be prepared for anything that could happen and never really don't dismiss it right away, because I'm sorry, most conspiracy theories are no longer theories. So, and they're no longer conspiracy, right? It's real. So all I'm saying is just keep an open mind when people are going through this stuff. It's insane what is happening today, but obviously this would be one of the worst case scenarios. But I don't think we're gonna go here. At least I don't want to. I don't want any of this. But let's see what happens.
What would happen if the USA invaded Greenland right now? U.S. warships appear off the coast of Greenland. Special forces land in the dead of night, seizing airstrips and key ports. The invasion has begun. The U.S. is after Greenland's untapped resources, rare earth metals critical for military, tech, and energy dominance. With China and Russia expanding influence in the Arctic, the U.S. makes its move before they can. Denmark, which owns Greenland, is outraged and scrambles to respond. It calls on NATO for help, but the alliance is divided. Does it really want war with the U.S.? Meanwhile, Russia sees an opportunity. Moscow denounces the invasion and deploys troops to the Arctic, claiming it's protecting Arctic sovereignty. China isn't silent either. Heavily invested in Greenland's mining industry, Beijing sends warships to challenge the U.S. in the North Atlantic, warning the U.S. to withdraw. A tense standoff begins. The EU imposes sanctions, while Canada mobilizes forces and strengthens its border, fearing war on its doorstep. Then the unthinkable. Denmark fires warning shots at U.S. forces, demanding the end of the invasion. A single mistake could ignite global war. The world watches, waiting to see if diplomacy prevails or if the Arctic becomes the next battlefield.
I mean, I hope not, right? I hope not. Look, everybody, these things are very interesting to me. All of this is very interesting, and any of these scenarios could be possible today. I have nothing is impossible today. Because why? Because this is just the world we live in. It's how it is, and it's crazy. But okay, so I just got an update here. I guess NATO has said something. So let's see what this one is. I want to throw this in there because we got a lot of stuff. This is very important stuff that's going on right now. I know it will be a little outdated, but to put it in perspective, probably should say this shit up front. It is January 17th, 2026 when I'm going over all this information. So it's still before the end of January. So this stuff was pretty relevant at the time. So it may have changed. You know what I mean? By now, by the time the video comes out. Gotcha. All right. Thanks.
Do you guys realize what NATO just said changes everything about the U.S. taking Greenland? This is not some willy-nilly thing here. This is actually happening. Something is going to happen from this. So after Trump said that they are going to take Greenland, the easy way or the hard way, he'd rather make a deal with them, but they will absolutely go and take Greenland. He says, we are getting Greenland no matter what. NATO has come back to say they will position Danish, French, and German troops around and on Greenland to defend it after Denmark allegedly just gave the green light to basically shoot first and ask questions later if American troops land on the island. Now, of course, the reason or justification for taking Greenland is that we don't want Russia or China to take it. And people are completely flabbergasted after watching what the US just did to Maduro, jumping in there, swooping in, and now it controls Venezuela. They're thinking, is the same thing going to happen in Greenland? Now, here's the crazy part, though. What if I told you almost 100 years ago, there already was a plan for Canada, the United States, Mexico, Venezuela, Colombia, Cuba, and Greenland to be merged under one governing body? So I don't know if I'm buying the story that this is an organic conflict. But in fact, perhaps it's fulfilling this plan that was already decided upon long ago. But now we have this justification of it being to prevent unfortunate, not very tactical situation if Russia or China took the frickin' island. So type in North American Technate. Read about it, because this is absolutely shocking, and Elon Musk's grandfather has something to do with it. Whoa. But this is the plan. And we already have Venezuela checked off the box. You heard all the joke about Canada becoming a 51st state. Canadians are stoked overall, 50-50 of course. Some think, yeah, that'll be great. Maybe we'll get less taxes, more freedoms. The other half is so anti-American that they could not even possibly fathom being, maybe not half, but a lot of people are like, oh, the States. So I get it, but it's shocking, man. And this gets us closer and closer to one governing body over the world, or this, which is screenshotted out of the documentary called Thrive, which released like 14 years ago, talking about different unions, the American Union, the African Union, the European Union, and the Pacific Union. And that they would be in chain, like we're talking world gov, nation states and regions, the people chained together. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below.
I think you're on to something, my friend. I think you're on to something. Yeah, man. Shane's Vibes _truth. Dude, I'm telling you, this is what it's all about. Oh my God, that was crazy. I'm so glad that video just popped up. You know what I mean? Like, this is happening live right now. Holy shit. Because that makes the most sense. And they already were thinking about this 100 years ago, supposedly. I mean, that sounds more real to me than anything else. Shit. Wouldn't that be something, huh? And obviously, out of all of those, you're going to pick the United States of America. But why? Because we're the best, baby. We are the best of the best, and we're the best of the worst. And we're the worst at being the best. And we're also the best at being the worst. Woo! What a tongue twister. We got it all. We're on all four sides. It's just the way it is, everybody. It's just the way it is. I mean, that right there, boom, I'm in. I'm locked in. 100% down on this theory. 100%. It's the most realistic. It really is. But you know what it is also for me? The one that you think would happen the least is what's been happening the most today. So I'm probably 100% wrong. You know, the one thing I don't want to happen may have a better probability of happening than anything, right? You never know, man. This is all a crapshoot. Just please stop gambling on this stuff, though. That's really bad. Think about it, okay? Real quick. Side note, gambling. If sports, let's just say 100%, all of the games that they have said that have been fixed, football, basketball, whatever it is, right? You were gambling, and they're throwing games, and they're changing things, and they're doing things, okay, right? To make sure you lose, right? Or the person that works for whatever fucking put money in on the opposite team, and he's like, shit, I can't lose, so you need to get this team to throw, and they do. And now you lose. All these things are happening. All these things have happened. So what happens when you start gambling on like major life events, like people dying and car crashes and how long a speech is going to go? And then the lady cut it abruptly just before the mark, and people lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Look, that should be illegal. That is not something we want to be gambling on, because all that entices, well, it could be devastation. Because if I don't even know if I should say this, but let's just say the likeliness of Greenland causing a nuclear war, 40-60. Okay, by this time, by this date, by this year, what are you gonna gamble? You do understand that the person at the top of that table who has control is buddies with the billionaires and all them, and then they see all these numbers coming in, and they're just like, wow, a lot more people are expecting this than I thought. Well, we've got all our underground tunnels and our vaults. So, fuck them. It won't matter if they win this time. Boop. You know what I mean? Like, you're not winning. All you're doing is making it very easy for people to steal your money. I think this is absolutely wrong and disgusting, disturbing. Gambling's one thing. Gambling on life events is I don't even know why we're talking about it. I don't even know why it's allowed to be happening today, but I think it needs to be stopped. Yeah, I do. So, does he even know he was being recorded? Now, this is Chuck Schumer. Well, he's been recorded, everybody. He's been recorded, right? If you're speaking at public events and you're in the government, you're being recorded, which is, the way it should be. These guys, man, I'm sorry. You just have to watch the video. It's so infuriating that they do the things that they do because it's just such bullshit.
Did this guy not know that he was being recorded? Listen to what he said about President Donald Trump and Nicolas Maduro in 2020.
He brags about all these things he wants to do or is doing, but his actions belie his words. And the president brags about his Venezuela policy? Give us a break. He hasn't brought an end to the Maduro regime. The Maduro regime is more powerful today and more entrenched today than it was when the president began.
Fast forward 6 years to right now, the Maduro regime is done thanks to President Donald Trump. And here's what this guy said today.
We have the War Powers Act. That's a privilege resolution, which means the Republicans can't block it. Tim Kaine and I and Rand Paul are sponsors of it. It's going to come to the floor this week. And if it is voted for, if it's voted positively in both houses, then the president can't do another thing in Venezuela without the okay of Congress. We have to pass.
How do these Democrats do it? It must be exhausting keeping up with your own hypocrisy.
So you say in 2020 that he can't do any of this. He's not going to be capable of doing this at all. Not happening. And in 2026, when he does it, they come out and they go, well, hold on now. You can't go any further without Congress. Slow down. It really is so tiring. Never happy. That side. I mean, I don't think us as the people are ever happy. But literally these fucking government officials can never make up their mind. You said it couldn't be done. It got done. So what? Now you got to put regulations on getting shit done? Fuck off. You know what I mean? So irritating. This is not scary, everybody. This is pretty crazy. Now, you want to see some people fucking protesting? Not that I agree with it at all, but if you want to hear about somebody who's got some protesting down, really good at it, good at what they do, let's say, this is the French protesting.
Did you guys see
wild.
the protests that are happening in France? Crazy. BlackRock is heavily involved in this Mercosur trade deal. It's a long-planned EU free trade agreement and would create one of the world's largest trading zones covering 780 million people.
Sounds
Right?
good.
Except it's not.
Why? Why?
Because it would primarily be about agriculture. Because it takes away all regulations that Europe has strongly held to with pesticides, with all these things that go into foods like American food. All the farmers of Europe will like basically lose their jobs. But so far, only 2 countries have voted yes on it in Europe, and the rest, including Macron, has said no. But like all these protests are happening, and like all these farmers are literally like dumping manure.
Say
and,
what
like,
you will about the French, they know how to protest.
dude, they really do. They like brought a whole tractor of potatoes and just dumped in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
And like people couldn't drive over a pile of potatoes.
That's hilarious.
And this is where France government goes. Pfft. So there's multiple layers to why these farmers are protesting. There is this cow disease going around France and other
gosh.
European countries right now. It's literally called lumpy skin disease.
Oh, goodness.
It's like a less than 5% fatality for these cows, and it doesn't spread to humans. France and other European countries, if one cow has this disease, they'll come in and kill all your cows.
Does it affect their meat, I guess?
No, it doesn't.
So they're just taking advantage of the situation.
Yes, but that BlackRock is heavily involved in this agriculture and the cow stuff. So like BlackRock, they're buying these companies, so they basically want to be the providers of food for Europe.
Dude, for real. Like, I know that
own
that's
all the
happening.
farmland
Because it's
they're-
already happened here. They're already done with us because it's happened.
Yeah.
And
To
they-
the French.
And she's absolutely correct. It has already happened here. They have already done all of this. And remember, everybody goes to Italy and Paris and France and all these places, and all they talk about is the wonderful, good, healthy food. How do they eat bread and pasta all day and not get fat? It's all going to come to an end when BlackRock gets their fucking roots into this bullshit. BlackRock is the most evil company on this fucking earth. They're the reason why we're trying to put a stop to these people buying up all the fucking housing and forcing everybody into renting. They're the main reason you're going to get a 50-year mortgage now, and you can't buy a house until you're 59. They are the most evil of the companies. Fuck, dude. But you know what? You know, we definitely, you know, have had our problems with the frogs, for sure. I'm part frog, you know, French Canadian. So I guess I'm a mixture of both sides. But I'm all American, baby. But shit. It's just BlackRock doing the exact same thing they've already done here, right? Destroy all the farming, process all the food, and then while you're at it, let's redefine meat itself. Now, I have done no research on any of this, okay? I am going to be diving a little deeper. But if this happens to be true, the FDA just reclassified meat as a biotech product. Buy your meat from local farmers. Don't let the FDA get away with this. Now, if they're dismantling and destroying local farming, right? Because what have we seen so far, right? The ostriches, right? It was ostrich farms just being slaughtered for no reason. They were just going in there. Oh, they got disease, and they would kill them, and the testing wasn't coming back in time, and they were just slaughtering these things. It was a giant thing going on. The cow situation, the chicken situation. You're going to tell me that the major fires that took out massive, grass-fed, the chickens, the cows. There was a few of these massive farms over the last 5 years, and they destroyed people that were trying to do something better than what the system is giving us. They are no longer operating. They're gone, right? They've been destroyed. Call it what you will. I think it's sabotage. I think all of this is by plan. It's always by plan. So what are we to do when they finally destroy all of the farming? Right? Because one little tiny farm can't take care of it. We can't do it ourselves always. But if they reclassified meat as a biotech product, that means they can print it. The videos that I showed you of the eggs becomes legal. All the things that we're trying to uncover and show you that we're being poisoned every single day becomes reality. It allows them to destroy France. It allowed them to destroy American farming. I think it's already here, man. I don't think this is a straight up lie or fake information. But again, I have done no research on this. So it has me worried, everybody.
The FDA just reclassified meat as a biotech product. Yeah. Your steak just got grouped with lab sludge and plant-based, and they didn't even tell you. They changed the definition of meat. Now, real beef from a cow, the kind that eats grass, breathes air, and walks on four legs, is in the same category as stuff grown in a stainless steel tank or mashed together from soy and chemicals. So when the label says meat, you won't know if it came from a pasture, a petri dish, or a marketing department. And the FDA says that's fine, because it's all innovation. Translation? Real food loses its name and corporations get a brand new market. They didn't redefine food to help farmers, they did it to erase them. Because if everything's meat, nothing is. And once you can't tell the difference, they own the word, the patent, and your dinner plate. Welcome to the future, where your burger was made in a lab and sold as beef.
Here's what I have found. Okay, so I did want to do some research real quick on this. Now, in summary, with all this shit, the classification isn't a single switch, but a new regulatory pathway that treats cell-grown products as biotech, requiring specific labeling to inform consumers, differentiating them from traditional meat. Dude. It hasn't been universal reclassification of all meats, but the U.S. regulatories, FDA, USDA, are developing distinct regulatory frameworks and new labeling rules for cell-cultured, lab-grown meat. So, yes, is there a little bit of truth in this? Yes, there is. That's what I'm saying, everybody. This is why we bring these videos up. This is why, right here, I just proved to you that even though everything that was said in this video is not 1,000% true, the fact that they are in the middle of reclassifying meat and adding in a bio product, they are in the middle of doing it. So it is happening. And eventually, I bet you she's right. And the videos that I see are right. That this cultivated fake meat is just going to wind up on the shelf. And guess what? I will put $1 million that it's made with mostly soy and garbage, just like the healthy burger, you know? Fuck, man. This is troubling to me. This is very, very, very troubling, and I'm so glad I did this all for you live. Now, what about this? Hey, we don't need anybody anymore, everybody. We don't need anymore. Drones begin harvesting apples on farms. Isn't this fun? Now, I have no idea where this farm is. I have no idea about nothing. I'll play the video for you and talk through it. Just drones instead of humans are picking apples at this farm. They don't even tell you what farm. The system utilizes AI machine's vision to analyze images of the fruit. Yep. It helps determine not only which fruit is ripe, but also sugar content. So it's scanning them. I mean, what farm, huh? Where? Drones are now harvesting apples, increasing merging with autonomy as drones, AI, big data turn traditional farming into precise data-driven system from monitoring soil health, optimizing irrigation, and forecasting yields. These technologies are reshaping how food is produced as climate pressures grow and global demand continues to rise. So they're not just picking the fruit, blah, blah, blah. They are also scanning everything, analyzing everything, and seeing how we can possibly grow more fruit and better the soil, blah. But I mean, it seems like it was separating the sugar content and everything. So like I'm not saying that this shit isn't somewhat impressive, man. I just said a whole bunch of shit that we've never been able to do before, right? No human could do that. We just go out there, we pick the fucking shit, we put it in a bag, and we put it on a shelf. These guys are analyzing everything and telling us how we can get a better yield next year. I know that's impressive, but shit, what cost is it coming at? What cost is it coming at, and why? Why do they need to do it this way? Why does any of this stuff even need to be in the fucking elements anymore? Do we even need to grow food outside at all? I think that in itself is crazy. Because, again, no one has been able to explain why the sunflowers don't look at the sun anymore. So is the outside the best place to be growing food anymore? I think we move it inside with the marijuana. You know? That's what we should be farming. Lots of it. So, the leaders of Iran are on meth. Well, that sounded fun to me, so I figured, hey, let's fucking talk about it a little bit, right? What do you mean? It seems like all these people really, really like meth. Check this out.
So I've just found out that Iranian religious leaders are smoking crystal meth. Tight, yeah! It's the kind of thing I wouldn't believe if I heard that online, but this actually comes from Rana Rahimpour, who was the BBC's lead Persian correspondent for many years. So check out what Rana had to say. It's insane.
Client of mine who's very well connected to the religious elite in Iran. He said that he was offered some crystal meth when he was in a seminary in the city of Qom, which is one of the most religious cities, and there's a one of the most important seminaries in the Shia world. And he said most of those clerics are on crystal meth, and he said that the next day we had a meeting with Grand Ayatollah blah blah blah, while all of them were taking crystal meth the night before.
Well, that is going to be one of the best stories I've heard all year. I can already say on the 15th of January.
That is insane and wild, everybody. That's crazy. What? They're all on meth. Everybody's on meth. Well, didn't we say the same thing about Trump and the medicine in the desk, and the same thing about Biden? Like, they're on uppers to keep them going. And I think that maybe, just to be in the position that they are, you would have to be under the influence of something like that. Because you know what I mean? You always got to feel like you're right. But I don't think meth is a good thing, because usually meth heads, well, they run towards authority, right? They run towards the cop and they cause problems. So maybe that's why world leaders just like fucking causing wars and conflict. Yeah, I'll be right back. And I'm back, everybody. Let's get back into this show here. So, Holy shit, this just keeps getting worse. A buried CIA video just surfaced, and Erica Kirk is in it. Dude, anybody see this from like 10 years ago? This thing has been circulating. This woman is not who we've been told she is.
We have 5 major threats that make our grid extremely vulnerable that we've presented to congressional officials. 1 being cyber, 2 being hackers, 3 being physical threats, 4th one is solar EMP, and the 5th one is man-made EMP. So the concern that we have is that we put out this critical information, and when we go over this risk analysis, they hear what we're saying, but they don't want to take action.
Well, there are 18 critical infrastructures in the United States: food, water, transportation, communications, etc. All 17 of the others depend on electricity.
If our grid goes down, you can't cook, you're not going to heat anything, you can't run any of your medical supplies, you can't talk on your phone, you can't take money out of a bank, and we turn into total chaos.
If this happens, the system stops.
If a transformer is taken down, we have to order it from Germany or China. It's going to take a year.
Up till recently, there were no comprehensive protective solutions available.
We know what the solutions are. They're not expensive. They're not difficult to employ. We just need the political will to do it and the follow-through on the part of the electric utilities to get it done.
The White House is protected from an EMP. The Congress and the CIA and the NSA, all of the areas that need to function in the government are protected. So why can't we be protected?
Around some of these facilities, you don't have much more than a chain link fence to keep people out. Now that seems absurd to me.
I think it is absurd when we now know that attack on as few as 9 grid substations could bring down all 3 major interconnections for the United States grid.
If the power goes out, you get the generator, and if that goes out, you get another one. There's never been a plan for what happens after that.
The director of the National Security Agency, Admiral Rogers, came out and said it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when.
Isn't that a wild video from 10 years ago with Erica Kirk in it? I mean, this woman is definitely IDF. She's definitely not American, everybody. Nope. She's, I don't even know. I don't even know. Secret agent, something. She's something, all right. That's what she is. She's something, all right. Soon to be J.D. Vance's wife? I don't know. They seem very friendly, don't they? Actually, they seem like they've always been married. Interesting. But that's a rabbit hole I'm not going down today. I just thought it was interesting, man. It just doesn't seem like she is who they portrayed her to be. It just doesn't seem like it. And I don't think they were ever married. I think that was arranged. And isn't it something that you never see the kids? Where'd they go? Where did they go? And I will be honest with you at this very moment. I don't keep up or pay attention to what she's doing. So if she is showing up to things with the kids, please put it in the comments because I did not know that. But all I'm saying is that the kids were a big part of everything. And all of a sudden, now he's gone and the kids are not around. And weird, huh? The whole thing really is something. You know? It's something. I just don't believe it's what they're telling us it is. So, this right here, man, I am telling you, if this is even, I mean, McDonald's. Like, I don't know, dude. I don't know. But I'm telling you, there's something dark about McDonald's, man. There's something dark about it. I can't put my finger on it. I don't know how real this is either. But I will say that, again, there's no way they can do what they're doing. There's just no way. There's no way. So the FBI finds remains of people at a McDonald's meat supplier. Like I said, I don't know. Let's listen.
And Jim, is this part of that investigation? Is that winding down at all yet?
It is indeed, Jeff. Take a live look behind me. This is what's left of the FBI evidence recovery team inside this car. And take a look at this vehicle. We believe this is the owner of the business just returning to take back possession of his business. More on that in a second. But take a look. Another busy day out here on Detroit's east side, just down the road from City Airport. Sources say they have removed several boxes of what is believed to be human remains. Sources say many people. This was a big operation. And get this, inside this business, a saw used to cut up bodies, it is believed. All taken away as evidence to the Wayne County Medical Examiner's Office where it will be tested. This business is known as International Biological. It advertised as a medical educational service provider. The owner is Art Rathburn. He has a mortician license, has had in Michigan since 1982. But the big question is, did he get human bodies illegally? And was he selling them illegally? Just moments ago, the owner, we believe, showed up. I tried to ask him some questions. Mr. Rathburn, will you talk with us? What do you have to hide, sir?
I mean, and this is where I get my skeptical, hippo eyes, whatever. Like, I start to ask questions, but you said this was a McDonald's food facility, right? But my problem is that it was singularly owned, and the owner was there. And these people are pulling these boxes of human remains out. And that guy is just like walking up to a vehicle and leaving? Or was he walking into a building? That video is very grainy. But how is he not in handcuffs if they are finding actual human remains? Why is he even walking around on the property at that moment in time without the authorities stopping him? He should be in custody, right? Because looked at as number one suspect. And was this really a McDonald's meat supplier? And where they say they were? Denver? So it says human meat with rat DNA, potato farm owned by Bill Gates, filled with vaccine, aspartame, red 40. I'm loving it. So, isn't that something? Because yes, they are saying that they're going to be, well, they killed it, everybody. They killed it. So I had a clip of the foods that they want to start injecting vaccinations with. This is vaccines. This is not a joke. This is not a joke. The aerosol spray, blah, 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 wasn't working for them. So now they want to inject the food that we eat with the vaccines. And so that way you have to take it because this is what they want. That's how we stay sick, everybody. I don't care what the news is saying. I don't care what you're listening to out there. There is no way that 100% of unvaccinated people are dying from the flu, and everybody who's vaccinated is having less complications. I already had it. I'm unvaccinated. I lived right through it. You know what's going to get me through the next one? Herd immunity, not vaccinations. Fuck mRNA. I will never take your vaccination ever again. Give me ivermectin. Give me all the shit that has been around for decades that works before your mRNA DNA changing bullshit. Take your flu shot and your COVID shot and fucking stuff it. No, not happening. Now, vaccines are getting a pushback, so they're going to be looking for ways to make their money for their profits. So why not sell it to everybody and say, hey, we'll just inject the food with it. Let's just get it out there, man. We need our money. At the end of the day, I don't care about anybody's fucking health. Just get my vaccines out of this building and get my money in my pocket. Because that's what it's about. That's what it's all about. All right, so the CPS fraud, they hope you never see.
And it would be contrary to welfare to return the child to the parents alone.
Under Title IV-E, what do you train your workers about how the state gets its money in relation to the work they do for your agency? What do you teach them?
For the Title IV-E funding, that's
Yes.
correct, but I don't know about the other grants and all of that stuff.
Okay, the
which is
only thing
possible.
we're talking about right now is the exhibit that's in front of you, Title IV-E funding. In order to qualify for Title IV-E funding, you train your workers that they must remove that child from the home. That's the first step, right?
Yes.
Then the second step you train your workers is that they must obtain from the court an order that says continuation in the home is contrary to the best interest of the child, correct?
Correct.
And you teach them this. If they don't follow those two steps, your agency does not get the money under Title IV-E, correct?
Correct.
So you go to a house, you extract the kid, and then the only way to return the kid to the house is that house has to be under watch from there on out? And that's how they make their money? What the fuck, man? These are all terrible people. That's all I see is terrible, evil people taking our money, taking our children, taking. That's all it ever is, right? Take. Fuck the people. That's what you're all really thinking on your fucking high horses and from your mountaintops, isn't it? Fuck the people. Why don't you just say it? Why don't you just say it? I feel like Trump is the first one fucking saying it. He's saying, fuck all of you. Fuck the government. Fuck you. Fuck the people. I'm taking everything. So maybe he will absolutely say fuck all of this and just do insurrection, stop all voting, no elections. And maybe he will just go full dictator, because if there's anybody saying fuck all of you right now, it's him. But isn't it funny how everybody always says fuck the people? Everybody. Prove me wrong. So this here, man, this is what I believe is happening. I don't think that all social media, I don't think, is terrible. I don't think all of it is fake. I don't think all of it is misinformation. I believe that misinformation, disinformation, real information, they all live together. And big media is the biggest misinformation that's out there today. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. They are all bought by corporations. So if there's anybody who's getting paid to lie, it's them. Big media.
If you know someone that still watches the news, send them this.
Responsibility is to serve our Treasure Valley communities, the El Paso, Las Cruces communities, Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CPS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about the troubling trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
Plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has become all too common on social media. More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and
false news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish these same fake stories without checking facts first.
So lucky we have independent media now.
Use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 It's insane, isn't it?
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy. This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
You only need to say something enough times for people to start believing it's true.
This is just proving, and not me. I'm not really independent, journalists or journalism. I'm not doing any of this stuff, man. I'm just having fun in my house, hoping to make some money off of YouTube. Let's be real about that. But my whole thing is, being transparent and being open and dealing with addiction. That's what I started this for. But independent journalism and looking at things with skeptical eyes coming from big media today is so important. It's our freedom of speech. And we should be able to do the things that big media will not do for us anymore. Because it's not corporately sound. But yet it's a dangerous thing for our democracy. Well, no, it's not. You're the dangerous thing to our democracy. You are destroying our democracy. And just to let you know, we don't live in a democracy, everybody. We live in a republic. Democracy is our voting system, and our voting system is already broken. Hate to bust it to you. The voting system is broken. I'm sure there's manipulation everywhere. I'm sure all of the things that were happening are very true. And I do not believe that breaking the democracy will ruin our republic. The craziest thing to me is that I made this amount of money, so therefore I'm an important person, is bullshit. It's bullshit. Because that's not really what's important, and that's not what we should be bringing to our future. It should be something different. It should be something different, everybody. And I don't know if it's going to be different, but we need it to be different today. We really, really do. So there is an underwater test facility in Milford, New Hampshire. Now, I didn't really pay attention to this, but I did want to play it because, man, I was like, what do you mean by underwater test facility? What are we testing? And it's right here in Milford? Ooh, I'm intrigued.
This is an underwater test facility right here in Milford, New Hampshire. Just along North River Road is a seemingly inconspicuous body of water. It's a quarry, about a football field in size and 80 feet deep. However, what makes this quarry particularly interesting is that it houses an underwater sound testing facility for U.S. defense contractor BAE Systems, Inc. In a Naval Undersea Warfare Center Division document from 1993, the facility is detailed as having a heated barge floating in the middle of the quarry. The barge has a hole in the floor, allowing equipment to be lowered underwater. A motorized shaft can lower test devices as deep as 50 feet. The shaft can rotate, allowing technicians to measure how sound is sent or received in different directions. Hydrophones, which are underwater microphones, and transducers, devices that send or receive sound underwater, can measure sound very precisely, including volume, direction, and phase or timing. Additionally, there is a tow trolley to drag equipment through the water, simulating motion and measuring noise, as well as a 3-ton crane to move large equipment. This might seem like an odd place to put a testing facility, but it's actually quite valuable and has had multiple suitors. Airmar, a local technology company specializing in ultrasonic sensors, was also at one time interested in using the quarry for testing. They had previously been using the Swayze indoor swimming pool at UNH to conduct underwater research, and saw this natural quarry as a much cheaper proprietary solution than costs associated with constructing and maintaining an artificial body of water with such great depths and volume. As a bonus, the rural area and lack of industrial or commercial activity makes this a conveniently quiet place to conduct audio measurements. Ultimately, the property was purchased by then Lockheed Sanders, which is now BAE and is still in operation. If you have any additional information on the history of this particular quarry and its current operations, please reach out. I'd love to hear from you.
That's crazy. So Sanders owns it and it's run by BAE? They're testing sound vibrations? Dude. Is this all coming out because of that fucking weapon they used? That's insane, dude. So right here, Milford, New Hampshire, friggin' testing the waters. You know what I mean? The sound under the waters. Now this here, everybody, is supposedly something wild. Are you ready? You better put this in your calendar. August 12th, 2026. Okay? We're going to lose gravity. We're going to lose it. 7 seconds. Are you ready? Are you ready? Because I am telling you this right now. I don't know. I don't know where to go. I don't know. Suppose if it's not nailed down, it's going up. That's what I've heard. Put this on your calendar. On August 12th, 2026, the world will lose gravity for 7 seconds. NASA knows it. Read the caption. The leak has been ignored by the media as a conspiracy theory, but an independent physicist confirmed the intersection of gravitational waves. His paper was retracted, and he has since disappeared. Really? What you can do? Follow the civilian survival protocol. Stay indoors with a low ceiling. Lie on the floor, face down. Hold on to something secure. Okay, so you heard it here first, everybody. Supposedly, August 12th, 2026. I don't have a time, but we're going to lose what? Gravity for 7 seconds. So, buckle up, literally. Stay indoors. Be careful, because if we lose gravity, we're going to be up out of here. You know what I mean? We're going to be up out of here. That's what I'm saying. Oh, wild time to be alive. And I just want to thank all of you for subscribing and being there. If you're new, remember to subscribe. Again, if you want your opportunity to be a guest or tell your story, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. It's the official email of the podcast. Send an audio, video, or type it out. Linktree is in the description below the video. Go ahead, click that. Gives you everything TWT. It's just that easy. And with that all being said, I hope everybody out there has an amazing Thursday. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, I will talk to you next week.